I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can we have a roll call, please, Liz?
Mr. Wapilski is absent. Mr. Meehan,
Here.
Ms. DiVenezia,
Here.
Mr. Hetrick,
Here.
Mr. Murray,
Here.
Mr. Balin,
Here.
Ms. Minson,
Here.
Mr. Weissman,
Here.
Mr. Lynch,
Here.
Mr. Samrow. Here. Mr. Pasternak is absent, Mr. Henry,
Here.
and Ms. Bondrich is here.
Notice this meeting has been provided through resolution adopted by the mayor and council on December 16, 2024, at its regular meeting of the mayor and town council at the Booton Town Hall, 100 Washington Street, Booton, New Jersey, and by electronic mailing to the citizens of Morris County and the Dale Record newspapers, through posting on the town website and by filing a copy of the same with the town clerk. Members of the public were also permitted to submit written comments prior to the meeting via mail or email, which will be read during the public comment period. All public comments, whether during the public portion of the meeting or submitted beforehand, shall be limited to no greater than 3 minutes in duration. At this point, we will have various committee and liaison reports, starting with our administrator, Neil Henry.
Thank you, Mayor. In addition to what's on our agenda for this evening, the following key items have been addressed by the Administrator's Office since the April 21st council meeting. Work continues to identify candidates to replace our T4 water operator, as well as our town engineer. There are several plans in the works, which I'm trying to work through at the present time. We did receive 8 bids for the upgraded or wellfield water transmission facility. We are in the process of vetting that low bidder from a technical perspective as well as a legal perspective. Following up on a comment we had at the last meeting on using the senior shuttle on primary day, I'm happy to report the service, the shuttle voters between the firehouse and town hall will be using the senior citizen van.
Nice.
Jerry will make it a priority to be in town hall that day and shuttle anybody up that needs to be shut up. We're going to be planning communications to advise people of that. But as I said, the primary focus that day will be on transporting voters and then some fill in with some riders with some of the seniors. I coordinated the contracts for the new Toner Road generator, as well as the roofs on the John Taylor building, the water department, and the senior center. And I attended a pre-con meeting on the Plain Street drainage issue associated with the Booton Housing Authority. Work is scheduled to start on that by the end of the month. And as per usual, work continues on managing matters related to personnel and other litigation. That concludes my report for this evening.
Thank you. Any comments or questions for Administrator Henry?
Just one quick comment, Neil, just to thank you for your work helping to make sure that those rumble strips up on Oak Street were getting repaired. I understand they're getting repaired this week.
Yes.
So I just want to thank you. That'll make a big impact on speeding in that area. So thank you very much.
You bet.
Anyone else?
Yeah, real quick.
Sure.
Neil, thanks for the following up with the shuttle. Hopefully that helps a lot of residents out.
You're welcome.
Number 2, any idea how long the remediation is going to take for that Plain Street sinkhole?
I heard, so the pre-con meeting was today. The anticipation, John, it's gonna be about a 2 or 3 week job. So it's gonna,
Quick. All right.
what took us 3 or 4 years to get there is gonna be wrapped up in a couple of weeks.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Moving on, DPW, Councilmember Balin.
Thank you, Mayor. At our DPW Council committee meeting, which was conducted on site at the Plain Street Extension Recycling Center, there were a number of items discussed, but the primary focus of the meeting was on the reorganization, some improvements to the operations, addressing the superintendent's concerns regarding public access and the council's goal to clean up that site and begin to prepare some public park usage of a portion of that site where it will connect to the proposed train trestle pedestrian bridge, a future project. So after a long time coming, and thanks also to Neil for, we've had our Public Works consultant present at the meeting. We walked through, looked at relocating some trailers, and we're in unanimous agreement, the administrator, the committee, and our consultant and superintendent, that we could relocate some items and begin a process of cleanup and reclaiming some space there also, which should improve functions for the public and use of the recycling area. So I think Neil is working on a timeline, number of next steps items involving also some auctions of some vehicles. So more to follow on that, but it was a productive meeting, and thanks again, Neil, for putting that together, and to Mr. Ezzy for.
Thank you. Any comments or questions?
Just a question. That's great news on that. So thank you. Is there any update yet, or I don't know if this is you on the trailers and sort of what can be done with the private trailers be able to use the recycling center?
That was discussed, and then there's some activity prior to after the meeting.
If I may, Zeke.
Please.
So, unfortunately, Mr. Ezzy had to leave in the middle of the meeting to take care of a personal matter at home. So we didn't get a chance to really discuss what he had come up with on those trailers. He did give me the very next day his report. He did contact the several towns which apparently do permit 4x8 landscaping trailers to come in. I read his report, and I had some additional questions as to what the fee structures were. You know, if a truck is coming in that doesn't have commercial plates and is owned privately and is towing a 4x8 trailer and they're both loaded with debris, does that qualify? So my point of bringing it up is we're making some progress getting to presenting to the full council a recommendation. But we got sort of short-circuited last week with Bob having to take care of an issue at home. My goal is to finish it up at the next meeting, DPW meeting late in May, and hopefully at the beginning of June have a resolution.
Great. Thank you very much.
Anyone else? Okay, moving on, we'll go to library. Councilmember Minson.
Just a lot of things coming up for the library. Very, very active community, true community center. Just a few things to put on everybody's radar. Fiber Arts is back first and third Wednesdays, which is quite a popular group. So back by popular demand. A spring watercolors workshop on May 18th and June 1st. The Native Garden series continues May 12th. And there's a jazz brunch with Bob Wildey on June 1st. So just please continue to check up on the library, check on their calendar. There's just so much going on, and it's you know, it's applicable to every generation, every kind of person. So a lot of good work happening there. And then we're just in continued conversations, discussion about the fire alarm system, trying to find a more cost-efficient way to meet our goals and stay up to code and protect the building, but not break the bank. So that's an ongoing conversation right now.
Thank you. Any comments or questions? Well, moving on, we'll go to Councilmember Minson, Boonton Main Street.
Yeah, similarly, Boonton Main Street just is continues to be really busy and really positive ways for the town. The April 19th cleanup day was entirely successful between Boonton Main Street and the rec department. Just a lot of people coming out and a lot of good work, and still a lot of work to be done, I think, was the conclusion after the end of the day. You know, there was a lot of work done, and we could really see that there was still more to do. The first Friday for May was the art walk, live music, even in the middle of a little spring shower and a rainbow. People still really enjoyed their first Friday. So First Fridays continues to be successful. First Friday for June is music on Main Street. We had 15 requests to participate in music on Main Street. So again, the word is spreading, and we really are becoming we are a community that is artistically focused, and we are becoming even more so. So everybody come out for the June First Friday event. Let's see, what else do I have here? We did have our social media influencers come out, and our businesses did remark that several people said, I saw, you know, the Boonton, you know, reel or the video, and wanted to check it out myself. So we are getting our social media just continues to improve and to grow, and the businesses are seeing direct impact from that. And then farmers market starts May 17th until November 22nd. The library is also contributing to farmers market. They will be out there every first Saturday doing things for kids. So again, it's an experience for every person in your household. And we've got at least 15 vendors that are going to be live every Saturday for farmers market. Brewfest, September 6th, we continue to work towards that and continue to make progress with getting that event ready. And then the only other thing I wanted to mention about Boot Main Street is that as Natalie Spingle continues to meet with our Main Street business owners, the conversation has come up a few times about outdoor seating and how to help businesses to accommodate, a different environment as the warmer weather comes about. And so that might be something that we want to just continue to think about. It's not something that's going to happen overnight, but as we're continuing to think about the way we're developing Main Street, the way we continue to think about zoning, the way we continue to think about parking, this is a desire for business owners, and these are newer business owners with a lot of energy and enthusiasm for being here. And so we want to start to make that part of the conversation as well.
Thank
That
you. Any
completes it.
comments or questions for Councilmember Vincent?
I guess just a question if it makes sense for the, Economic Development Committee to actually sort of take that as an agenda item, or specifically probably the outdoor seating. Because it is.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think it's at least worth talking about, and then figuring out, where that work should sit, but I think it probably starts with us.
Moving on, Housing Authority, Councilmember Di Venezia.
Okay, so Housing Authority met on April 23rd. I unfortunately do not have my notes with me, but from what I recall, Sherry had been working with Administrator Henry regarding the resolution of the sinkhole issue in the Plain Street development. Also, they're back to the drawing board regarding the flooding and the water issues up by Chestnut. Because they are looking for an alternative plan based on some of the property owners on West Main. And the other thing that came up was a request, which I think was communicated to both Captain Petonic and others for speed bumps on Plain Street near the housing project there.
Any comments or questions? Councilmember?
Yeah, or just, you may not have the answer tonight, but just on the flooding around Chestnut.
Yeah.
If you could, I would love to just get a more detailed report about that, to understand what the problems were with the original plan and what the timing is for the new plan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have the dates in front of me because again, I don't have my notes, but I know that they were back to the drawing board with the county and the property owners to see if we could find an amicable resolution to it.
They're filling sandbags right now.
Somehow it just doesn't seem like a long-term solution.
Moving on, the Parking Committee has not met, so we're going to put that off until the next meeting. But we go to the Planning Board, Councilmember Murray.
Thank you, Mayor. At the last planning board meeting, 2 variance applications were approved. One was for a residential subdivision on Monroe Street, and the other was for to be conditional for a sale of the old rec center to a model train club, and both were approved. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments or questions for Councilmember Murray?
I just have a comment, which is I did see that online, that meeting, and the model train thing sounds really cool. But I'm a nerd, so what do you like?
So planning board was in agreement. So
I think it would be a very positive use of the building.
Moving on to correspondence. We have one piece. Read it. Dear Mayor Lynch, it is with great regret that I need to inform you of my resignation from the Boonton Parks and Recreation Committee. My work and school schedule has become such that I cannot continue to volunteer the time necessary with the thoroughness I would like. I'll be resigning effective immediately. Thank you for the opportunity and best wishes to you and the Recreation Committee going forward. So yours, Patrick McMaster. A good motion to open this up for discussion.
So moved, Di Venezia.
Second, Balin.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody have any comments?
Just thank Mr. McMaster for his service and hope that he continues to stay involved in a different way in the future.
Motion to accept this.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next up, 2025 municipal budget. Ordinance 06-25, public hearing and proposed adoption. Morris County, New Jersey, calendar year 2024, ordinance to exceed municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cab bank. Calendar year 25, yes. Oops.
Sorry.
All right, can we get a motion to open this up to the public?
So moved, Vincent?
Second, Weissman.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any members of the public wishing to discuss this topic, please come forward and introduce yourselves. Seeing none, get a motion to open this subject to town council discussion.
So moved, Murray.
Second, Evenezia.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone have comments or questions?
Nope.
Can I have a call for motion to adopt the ordinance?
So moved, Vincent?
Second, Balin.
Can we get a roll call, please?
Bailey?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Hetrick?
Yes.
Mr. Meehan?
Yes.
Ms. Vincent?
Yes.
Murray?
Yes.
Whitson?
Yes.
Mayor Lynch?
Yes. Resolution 25-117, resolution of the mayor and town council authorizing self-examination of the budget. Could I get a motion to open this up to the public for a hearing?
So moved, Hetrick.
Second, Balin.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any members of the public wish to come forward and speak on this topic? Please come forward, introduce yourself, and the mic is yours. Seeing none, I ask for a motion to open this to town council discussion.
So moved, Meehan.
Second, Balin.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any members of the council have any comments or questions on this particular resolution? Seeing none, I would call for a motion to adopt the resolution.
So
So
moved.
moved.
Nope.
Go.
So moved, Balin.
Second, Evenezia.
We get a roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Mr.
Yes.
Hetrick?
Yes.
Meehan?
Yes.
Vincent?
Yes.
Murray?
Yes.
Whitson?
Yes.
Mayor Lynch?
Yes. Resolution 25-118, adoption of 2025 municipal budget. Can I get a motion to open this up for a public hearing?
So moved, Vincent?
Second, Hetrick.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any members of the public wish to come forward and discuss the adoption of budget? Crickets. Moving on, I call for a motion to open it to town council discussion.
So moved, Murray.
Second, Vincent?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any council members have comments or thoughts?
Go ahead.
Thanks for another successful process. Councilman Weissman, leading the finance committee, Mr. Henry, Mr. Yazdi, members of, yeah.
And I'll just add members of the committee, Councilmember Balin, Councilmember me and Mayor Lynch too. This is I think, a terrific process and we're ahead of the game in terms of the deadlines. And, yeah, thank you.
So all I would like to add is that, again, thank you guys for your hard work and your diligence in keeping the tax increase where it is. The school board wasn't quite as successful. They're going to come through with a 4% increase. And so people need to be aware of how that's going to impact their tax bills and try not to blame us.
Do you have any comments or anything, Mike? I think we're good, right?
Yep.
Okay. And I would,
And that budget was adopted at their last meeting.
okay, I call for motion to adopt the budget.
So moved, Weissman.
Second, Vincent?
Roll call, please.
Mr. Bailey?
Yes.
Ms. Evenezia?
Yes.
Mr. Hetrick?
Yes.
Mr. Meehan?
Yes.
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 Yes. Moving on to the consent agenda, resolutions 25-119 through 25-125. Can I get a motion to open this up for discussion?
So moved, Vincent?
Second, Balin.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody have any comments or questions on any of the items on the consent agenda?
I'd just like to thank Linda and Danielle for stepping up for their community to fill some vacant slots we got on some of our teams here.
And I'd like to comment on resolution 25-123 that I am very glad to see the town making steps towards making town hall more accessible again. You know, because not everyone with accessibility issues is riding in a wheelchair. And some of us could use a little help sometimes.
And Mayor, I would just add, resolution 25-119, approving the minutes. It's from the last meeting, and it's always a real great sign of transparency. A lot of towns are way behind on their minutes, but we're not. And I just think that's a credit to the clerk's office and the governing body.
Thank you
Thank
for
you,
that.
Liz.
Our town-
Kudos.
Thank you, Liz. Good job, Liz.
Thanks, Liz.
Any other comments or questions?
I have one, yes, request, on the appraisal resolution. It's just that, as I'm sure it will happen, but to say it publicly, that we're kept apprised of progress on that and, how it will impact it. Thank you.
Then I would call for a motion to adopt the consent agenda.
So moved, Vincent.
Second, Balin?
Roll call, please.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Resolution 25-126, resolution authorizing the issuance of not exceeding $1,504,000 bond anticipation notes of the town of Boonton and County of Morris, New Jersey. Okay. Can I get a motion to open this up for public discussion, public hearing?
So moved, Balin.
Second, Vincent.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any members of the public wishing to come forward and discuss this particular resolution, please do so now. Seeing none, I would call for motion to open this to town council discussion.
So moved, Balin.
Second, Murray.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody have any comments or thoughts on this particular resolution?
My only comment or thought would be that, is this all previously existing notes that are being rolled over, or is there new debt here?
We'll defer to our CFO, Mr. Yazdi.
I'm looking at him.
Have some interference. This is mostly old notes, and one additional new borrowing from our 2024 ordinances. So the existing debt is from 23 and earlier.
Thank you.
And we'll call for motion to adopt resolution 25-126.
So moved, Miss Vincent.
Second, Dave and Azia.
Roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. Ordinance 07-25, bond ordinance appropriating $5,110,600 and authorizing the issuance of $3,559,000 bonds or notes of the town for various improvements or purposes authorized to be undertaken by the town of Boonton in the county of Morris, New Jersey. Can I get a motion to open this up to the public?
So moved, Balin.
Second, Weissman.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any members of the public wish to come forward and discuss this particular issue, please do so now. Seeing none, we'll move on to a motion to open the subject to town council discussion.
So moved, Vincent.
Second, Balin.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any council members have thoughts or comments on this?
Repeat, Marie's question. Is this all new?
Yes, this is all new approved capital projects. It's maybe some legal language within these small print paragraphs, but those are the various projects we're approving as a part of this. At the end of the table, there's a 5.1 million number on the left. That is the total allowable expense for these projects, and the 3.5 million number is the maximum amount of bonds or notes we're allowed to take out. We're not taking that debt out currently. That'll be in the future, but that's what's allowed by approving this ordinance.
Thank you.
And it does include a new ladder truck, which is a very expensive item.
Any other comments or questions? Then I call for a motion to adopt ordinance 07-25.
So moved, Vincent.
Second, Dave and Azia.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Bailey?
Yes.
Ms. Ebenezer?
Yes.
Mr. Hector?
Yes.
Mr. Meehan?
Yes.
Yes.
Mary?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Ordinance 0825. Public hearing, proposed adoption. Ordinance providing for various sanitary sewage system improvements by the town of Boonton in the county of Morris, New Jersey, and appropriating $293,000, therefore from monies in the sewer capital improvement fund of the town. Getting a motion to open this up for public hearing.
So moved, Stephen Eastman.
Second, Balin.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any members of the public wishing to discuss this ordinance, please step forward to the microphone. Seeing none, I'd like to call for motion to open this subject to town council discussion.
So moved, Balin.
Second, Murray.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any members of the council have comments or thoughts on this particular ordinance? Seeing none, I'll call for motion to adopt ordinance 08-25.
So moved, Vincent.
Second, Balin.
Roll call, please.
Yes.
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Mr. Meehan.
Yes.
Vincent,
Yes.
Murray,
Yes.
Weitzman,
Yes.
Mayor Lynch.
Yes. Ordinance 09-25. Public hearing, proposed adoption. Ordinance providing for various water supply and distribution system improvements in and by the town of Boonton in the county of Morris, New Jersey, and appropriating $294,900, therefore from monies in the water capital improvement fund for the town. I'd like to call for motion to open this up for public hearing.
So moved, Stephen Eastman.
Second, Balin.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any members of the public wish to discuss this ordinance and only this ordinance, please step forward to the microphone. Seeing none, I call for motion to open subject to town council discussion.
So moved, Balin.
Second, Murray.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any members of the council have thoughts or comments on this? No. Okay, then I would call for a motion to adopt ordinance 09-25.
So moved, Weissman.
Second, Balin.
Roll call, please.
Balin.
Yes.
Stephen Eastman,
Yes.
Mr. Hetrick,
Yes.
Mr. Meehan,
Yes.
Ms. Minson,
Yes.
Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Mr. Weitzman,
Yes.
Mayor Lynch.
Yes. Ordinance 10-25. Ordinance providing for various improvements to be undertaken in and by the town of Boonton and County of Morris, New Jersey, and appropriating $398,200, therefore from various sources. Could I get a motion to open this up for public hearing?
So moved, Vincent.
Second, Balin.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any members of the public wishing to come forward and discuss this particular ordinance, please do so now. Seeing none, I'll move on. I'll call for motion to open subject to town council discussion.
So moved, Balin.
Second, Murray.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any members of the council have any comments or questions or concerns on this particular ordinance? Seeing none, I would call for motion to adopt ordinance 10-25.
So moved, Balin.
Second, Vincent.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Balin.
Yes.
Stephen Eastman,
Yes.
Mr. Hetrick,
Yes.
Mr. Meehan.
Yes.
Ms. Minson,
Yes.
Murray.
Yes.
Mr. Weitzman,
Yes.
Mayor Lynch.
Yes. At this point, I will open the meeting up to any town council administrator or town attorney comments. Anybody want to raise anything?
I
Yep.
got two things real quick.
Mhm.
First, I know we'd said with the trailer thing, we'd be looking at June for maybe a change. I was wondering if there's any way we could do like a temporary stay on letting the 4x8s in, because I know right now is spring cleanup.
Mhm.
And I'd hate to have residents waiting until June to be able to bring things to the recycle center. Is that something we can do? Is that something we'd be willing to look into?
I would ask our attorney for guidance. I think we passed the ordinance, so can we override the ordinance with the
Temporary
resolution?
stay? Yeah.
With a temporary type resolution, to do that if you'd like. We might have to wait till next meeting though, to do that if there's consensus.
That's being handled by the DPW committee?
We meet once a month, but we could probably meet. I mean, could we also just propose language this evening, temporary stay on non-commercial trailers?
I mean, you could if you want to go in that direction, but.
Stay on the ban of non-commercial trailers.
Consequences would be if you know,
Well,
be
that's-
that quick.
I guess that's my question, because my understanding is that this isn't like Boonton saying no trailers. This is coming down from regulations from others. I don't know that legally we're allowed, I would love to do that. That sounds great. I just don't know if legally if we're allowed to.
Well, it's not trailers altogether, it's the weight of trailers, so it's not 100% against trailers.
I would like to pump the brakes a little bit
Okay.
and propose something for the next meeting. This way, I have an opportunity, if you rush into something, sometimes bad things happen. So
Yeah, there's always unintended consequences.
Also, no one is being denied bringing their brush or
Yeah,
right now, it's,
You just can't put it in a
just
trailer.
can't put it in a trailer.
which makes it a little more difficult for some people, so.
we'll see if we can't get something on the agenda for next meeting. So we're still before June.
Okay.
And if we
And
can-
by then, perhaps we have the information from Mr.
yeah,
Resby.
perhaps more closer.
And then we could actually have instead of a temporary fix, a more permanent fix.
Okay. Number two.
And the second one is, I'd like to start the process on investigating an ordinance on, setting up some kind of like rent stabilization to like protect our tenants in town in a way that doesn't cause undue hardship to our landlords. Something, fair, but also on the books to make sure everyone is equally and justly protected.
Well, the way our ordinance process works is you propose an idea, and if you get 4 people on board, then you have access to our legal counsel and town resources to do so. Rather than crafting an ordinance, I think it's probably better served with discussing this before we just jump into an ordinance. And my suggestion is perhaps we put it to the Finance, Personnel, and Administration Committee.
Sure.
Is the chair okay with that?
I'm fine with that. I would love to talk, we'll touch base.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
Fair enough?
Yep.
Thank you.
Any other topics or?
Just a request, and Mr. This is related to resolution 25-125, my favorite, the reassessment one. Should be record, I should probably say, the favorite was sarcastic for the universe. I would love to request that appraisal services come in here and make a presentation to the council on the timing of the work and how they go about doing that work. So before, I assume it's the 5-year plan that we're doing with that. So I think before anything starts, I'd love to include an agenda and requesting them to come in and do a presentation to us.
I think that's a fair request as long as we don't hold up the contract for tonight because.
I understand that's to get signed. That's why I voted yes on it tonight. But I think if we could have them come in up before any work gets started, that would be terrific.
I'd second that.
And Fred, I've seen that before, right, with this.
Yes, it's actually part of their whole agreement that they would come at a public meeting. Just technically, they do need to get started with a little bit of the administrative side of this to get started, but nonetheless, just so we're clear, I don't want to say to them, you can't get started, but to please be mindful before there's interaction with residents and things of that nature to come and make a presentation, if that would be okay.
I'm very comfortable with that classification.
Thank you.
Yep.
At the last Board of Ed meeting, one of the things that was brought up was that they've recently redid the turf field. And there are certain individuals who are riding their motorized bicycles on the turf, potentially damaging it. And so one of the questions that came up is whether or not any town ordinances could be applied to enforce some sort of restriction on, there's signs and all that, no bicycles, no dogs. But in particular, these motorized bikes they have a potential to do a great deal of damage to a very expensive project. And so I don't know whether the regulations have caught up with these e-bikes or not. I know there's probably rules out there about helmets and all the rest of it. And I have also seen anecdotally reports of kids riding those bikes in violation of local traffic laws. And so I don't know whether we could create some sort of program with our police department to educate parents and users of these e-bikes as to, maybe this is something we could discuss in police committee, John. To try to just educate people as to the appropriate use of where those bikes are permitted. When you need to stop for a stop sign, which is always, and please don't ride them on.
We'll put it on the agenda, but
Thank you.
as far as if there's already signage that says bikes aren't permitted, whether it's pedal power or electric power,
I'm
they're both
pretty,
prohibited.
I'm pretty sure that the signs have to do mostly with smoking on premises. I don't know if there's a sign right now over there prohibiting bikes.
Oh, I thought you had said that.
Yeah, I would have to go drive over there and verify.
So you're, just so I'm clear on what your
Right.
request is this specifically pertaining to property on the schools, or you're talking about just in general across the whole town, e-bike safety, e-bike rules? laws?
Think I'd like to start with e-bike safety and e-bike rules, but as part of that, I would like to incorporate a don't ride your bikes on the fields kind of thing, like not at Pepe, not at any of these other fields that the town, that the town has. It's just part of the program.
We'll look to see what's
Can-
permitted and what's not.
Right. In
If
the
necessary,
meantime,
step up
at the next
enforcement.
board, can you confirm with the Board of Ed what kind of signage they have on their property? So
Yeah.
we can make it homogeneous between the whole town.
I can do it before our next police committee meeting.
If I may, I know Captain Khan does do a bike safety
Mhm.
course. And
Okay.
I just expand that onto that.
Thank you, appreciate that. But that was a topic of great concern at the last meeting.
Any other comments? Then I would open the meeting to the public. Public wish to come forward and discuss any topic they like. Feel free to do so. Mike's yours. Just introduce yourself in 3 minutes. Have at
Hi, Brian.
it. Yes, that was a groan.
She had nothing against, actually, this is just This is Brian Bin, 217 Crown Road. On Facebook, there was a thing with school called senior assassination with water guns. Okay, and everybody's making a big deal, topic about it. They're going around. The reason I'm doing this is coming out. Nobody's asking me to do this, just making people aware. It's happening. It's during the day. They shoot kids with water guns, purple and green water guns. The school's making a big deal. People are making a big deal because people are going at nighttime. They changed the rules. They shouldn't be playing at night. I'm making it aware that if you see kids with goggles on their heads, wearing green, bright colored clothes, carrying green and purple water pistols, their water guns, just making the town aware of it. I'm going to do the same thing to the Board of Ed next week. So it should be just noted that if you see that, that's all. These kids are having fun. Let them enjoy. And please, to the kids, do not do it at nighttime. Okay, only during the day. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Mayor, do once again announce the change in the polling location for 22.
It would be my pleasure. Due to concerns with the safety of the parking lot, which is scheduled to be repaved, there will be no voting at the South Booton Firehouse. All voting for wards 1, 2, 3, and 4 will be done at the Senior Center on primary day, June 10th.
And Liz, I can confirm I received that letter today.
Not the general election.
Okay.
No.
Anticipation is the general election, we're back to where it is. Is it
It
just?
should be.
It's a one-time change for the primary only.
And we have shuttles running.
Yeah, please.
I believe you went to a meeting with Mr. Rezzi. Was there any update on that? How it's all gonna fit at the senior center?
Well,
Four
it was
wards?
mostly, the meeting mostly, was about, regulations from the Department of Justice about accessibility, which is why we can't have it here. And every town has some issue. And Mr. Ezzy is, on top of, temporary measures for our senior citizens.
Thank you.
And I'm sorry, were there any emailed?
No, there was.
No comment. Then I would call for motion to adjourn.
So moved, me and.
Second, Balin.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all for coming.
I was wondering when you were gonna make a motion, John.
How the board, when they vote, they should change the order.